Sir William CO.
Mr. Speaker, it's my privilege to join with the rest of the House here to pay our tributes and final farewell to Parekura Horomia. I want to firstly acknowledge the presence of so many tribal leaders from Ngāti Porou and other iwis who are present, as well as the members of Parekura Horomia's family. The last time I saw Parekura was when, as Brendan had said, he conducted and led a pōwhiri on behalf of all our Parliament to welcome to this House the parliamentary leaders from the Pacific. And I know Tau Herane had asked him to do this, and in that morning he asked me, what time do I need to be there? And I could hear in his voice that he was weak. In fact, we'd seen him earlier in the week, and you could see life ebbing away from his body. So I said to him, you don't have to do it, Pare. You can stay home. But no, he insisted. He insisted on coming. Most of the House will not know that when Pare was a minister, that he was elected by the Ministers of Education of the Pacific Forum to chair that forum. In fact, he said to me that Trevor didn't like it, but he doesn't know about it. And so even when we lost government, even when Labour was out of government, for some reason or other, the Ministers of Education Forum continued, from the Pacific, continued to ask him to chair those forums. When he died that week, members of the Pacific community from across the nation called up former colleagues of his and many others, wanted to pay tribute, wanted to offer something on behalf of the Pacific community. I was reluctant at first because of the cultures that I practice, but also not fully understanding how Hawaii, Ngāti Porou, would receive it, and for all the range of political reasons. But in the end, my colleagues from Auckland came up, and we were privileged, and I want to acknowledge Hauiti Marae and the elders there for receiving us. And it was our privilege to acknowledge Parekura as a chief by presenting to the marae and to his whānau a Samoan fine mat, a tapa from Tonga called the pulupulu, and a basket of food that didn't have any food. And I suppose in the end we decided not to include the food because when Parekura was alive, he was on a diet. And we felt instead that that basket will symbolise the love and appreciation of members of the Pacific community who knew Parekura even before he became a Member of Parliament. Those of us who were privileged to be part of the tangi in the final days, final hours with the family in Ngāti Porou, felt that that was perhaps our finest hour. That Parekura brought together people from all walks of life, from the four corners of Aotearoa, New Zealand, that he was not just a politician, that he was a father, that he was a koro, he was an uncle, and indeed he was a friend to many of us here in this house. When we reflected upon what had occurred in the life of Parekura at a meeting last night in Mangere, one of the Tongan leaders said to me, he said, this Tongan proverb best reflects how things occurred at the tangi. And it goes like this. Oku ilonga, hoto ulunganga I he te mate. The translation is, the reputation or mana of a person is revealed for all to see when they die. And I suppose we were all captivated by the way New Zealand as a whole from Kingi to Heitia, from Prime Minister, from the Speaker, from the ministers, from politicians from all sides of the House, from CEOs of business, farmers, students, from rugby players. Didn't matter what they were, but they all felt that Parekura had touched them throughout their lives. And they came to pay their respects, offer their condolences, but to convey their genuine and sincere love for a man called Parekura. And I think that reflects, in my personal opinion, our finest hour of what is possible for a place called Aotearoa, New Zealand. And many of us reflect on his role with Community Employment Group and how he was a staunch advocate for communities, for local solutions. How he was a staunch advocate for the young people, our youth. And I share with him the belief that the youth, Māori and Pacific in particular, we have a role to play in preparing them to take up leadership roles in whatever forum in this country of ours. There is a Māori proverb that I think sums up his desire for young people. Whaia te iti kahuranga ki te tuahu koe me he maunga teitei. Aim for the highest cloud so that if you miss it, you will hit a lofty mountain. I'm not sure if Parekura shared that with me, but certainly in our conversations, he was a staunch advocate of our young people. I think, above all, as I conclude, Parekura knew more than most of us his role in this house. And that is, at the end of the day, when all has been done and said, the question will be asked, what was your purpose here? And his answer would be, it was about people. It was about people. It was about people. And I agree with the minister at the funeral service when he said Pare's legacy was to feed the people, to feed the children. And I hope, as others here in the House have expressed, that there are times in this House that we should take on board what Pare's life means for all of us, and that is we need to forget about the politics and do the right thing because it's the right thing for the people. Whaumatu sa mātou whamtalanga, ia waweta apele au pōliuli o whitiai Ngāti Porou, me le ainga whanau noa o Parekura. May the dark clouds that hover over Ngāti Porou and the bereaved family of Parekura quickly dissipate. Ia manuia lo malanga Parekura, safe journey.
Tia ora whao.